Well, good morning, traders. This is Rick with Hit and Run Candlesticks. It's Tuesday, July 14th, 2020. Thank you very much for being with me this morning on my video blog. Let's take a look at the market and a few trades as well. A few trade ideas that I'm going to be adding to my watch list today. Let's start off with the SPY. Yesterday, gap up. Everybody in the world thought the market was just going to rip tomorrow, just take off. We gapped, we came up, we tested inside this island reversal over here back June 8th through June 10th for a few days here. We tested up in there, darn near hit the top of it. And then I guess California announced it was going to shut things down for a bit, and the market started to peel back. So we ended up closing yesterday with a dark cloud cover candlestick signal here, tagging the T-line. The T-line is the black line right here. That's the 8 exponential moving average. So we ended up down there on some pretty good volume too. We want to watch that. One thing that we always want to think about is you never want a sell signal near a top, which we are, on big volume. And the same can be said for bullishness. That's something you would want on bullishness if you had a bullish candlestick signal with big volume. That might indicate that we're ready to move up a little bit. Okay, so with the SPY here, I've drawn a trend line from this May 14th getting into the June 28th, 26, 29 here, it'd be Friday, Monday, I guess, and drawn it up here. You can see that it is very possible that we slide to the right just a little bit. On weakness to the downside, we can also would have to consider that we may come back and tag that trend line right in here. Of course, one thing I think we've all learned over the recent couple of years, actually 3 years maybe, is not to underestimate the bulls. So really all it would take would be a little bit of positive news, maybe a drug that's closer to fighting the COVID-19. Man, that could send the market right up here. So we'll be watching this today pretty close. I think what we want to do is watch how we handle the body candle today. When I see a candle like this on some pretty good volume, one of the first things I think about is the following day. This deserves at least a lower low. Let's see if we get that. Right now it looks like we're opening up to the lower half of yesterday's candle, and this is about an hour and a half before the market opens is when I'm recording this. Probably one of the number one charts that I'm going to be following, and I have been following, is this FNGU. It's the FANG index, 3 times leverage ETN, and a lot of big tech. I have a specific scanner here, live trading alert scanner with nothing but the big tech on it. The FANG stocks, the stocks that makes up the FANG ETN here. Yesterday, boy, this was looking with a lot of green arrows in here. Yesterday we popped up, and then all of a sudden, again, when California announced that they were going to be shutting down, we started slowly drifting to the downside, ending up the day with a solid bearish engulf up here on some pretty big volume down here. So I think what we might want to do is consider the T-line, at least maybe a test of the T-line here. I can also see where we have some pretty good support down here at 102, the 102.50 area, something like that. If we wanted to draw a trend line, let's start from back here. We'll come into this candle right there, extend it up. That's pretty far, but it is what it is. So it is possible that we get back down into there. And actually, now that I look at that, 102.50, if we start to see weakness, I find it hard to believe we're just going to die off. But over a couple of days, 3-4 days maybe, we could get down into that trend line down in there. That's very possible. So let's watch that. If you are a forever bull, then we want to watch for buyers to step in. It doesn't matter where price goes to. We can sit here and debate where it might go to. We're blue in the face. But bottom line, no matter where it goes to, no matter what happens, to see some bullishness, you're going to need to see that bullish candle. We're going to need to see follow through, and although it may, the price may wiggle around a little bit, ultimately we need to break out to get to 180, 182 up here. So we'll watch for the buying signals, but we're also going to watch for the selling signals. We're also going to watch those. So right here on my FANG alert, I'll keep an eye on my FANG stocks. I'll watch what direction the arrows are going, see which way the group is going, and who is standing out from the group. So we'll definitely keep an eye on that. Let's see here. Okay. I have a lot of shorts I'm looking at today. I have a lot of shorts I'm looking at today. So just in case, let's have a few on the watch list. I pulled most of these shorts from various scans. They are all T-line bounce maybe to the downside, or our bear trap, bear 3/8 trap scan. I've got two different ones here on that. So here we have a CVNA that has been trending up for some time now. There we go. We're going to draw that line here to here. I think we could also draw one here to right in there and then just extend it. And you can see that's right where we stopped yesterday. So what we're looking for is follow through to the downside. Ultimately, we'll take maybe a little weakness. That can certainly be shorted. I'll consider that. It'll be on my watch list. But also to watch for a bounce back up and a fail in a few days. And that right there would tell the story. That would really tell the story if that was to happen. Another one is Beyond Meat. I mentioned this in the trading room several times yesterday. That Beyond Meat was looking a little weak in here. Beyond Meat has a nice little top, rounded top. And it's had the green trend indicator has been working out, and then all of a sudden you can see the trend indicator here got red. So basically what happened is price started trading below the trend indicator, turning it red, indicating that there's more sellers than buyers. And yesterday that was certainly proven. So now we'll put a line right here and here. So weakness below about 124.80 would indicate the sellers are still involved and there's not too many buyers sticking around. And that may lead to, let's fill that gap down in here. Let's actually put it here, about 94.90. So we'll call it 95 is possible for Beyond Meat, BYND. Tesla, everybody's favorite. Let's take a look at Tesla. Last night, I received several emails and private messages in the room about Tesla, what I thought Tesla was going to do. Well, first of all, Tesla's a monster. It is truly a monster. But a chart is still a chart, and a few things just have to be obeyed from time to time, even on stocks like Tesla, a cult stock. Tesla's a cult stock. You want to be careful shorting these stocks. I've shorted it. I've done very well on it, but the way I've shorted it is pretty much just day trading it to the downside. Now, yesterday I did not. So if we start to see weakness on Tesla after yesterday's almost not quite dark cloud cover, almost not quite dark cloud cover on some pretty big volume, if we start to see weakness, well, there's a little bit of support down here, about 1400. And that would also, the T-line, today the T-line will be up into that area as well. Outside of that, there certainly is some room for Tesla to drop down. But like I said, be careful. If you're looking to short Tesla, be careful. I think Tesla could pull back a little bit or just sort of move sideways maybe, gather its faculties, and then start back up. Tesla is headed for 2,000. So let's be careful if you're looking at a short, but I wouldn't just buy it just because it dipped. I heard yesterday some people bought at yesterday's low. Man, I would call that chasing right there. I really would. So be a little careful. Let's wait for the chart setup. Let's wait for the buyers to come in if you're going to buy it. And if it's going to short, let's let it prove. Let's get some proof in here that it's going to see follow through off yesterday's candle. Starbucks. Now this is one that I took on yesterday. I bought some Starbucks puts here. And let's take a look here. So Starbucks, you can see the trend indicator was up pretty nice. Here, let's make that a little bigger. There we go. Starbucks was up pretty good, has been up pretty good, you know, with just little minor pullbacks in here. And Starbucks has been pulling back, and it got, you know, it pushed itself underneath the trend indicator, and now we've got a little trend moving down here with a low test, high test, low test, high test, low test, so I took a little short on this, seeing if it was going to head back to the downside. No real money's going to, I don't see any big money being made on this until we get through this 171 and a quarter area. And then when that happens, we could come down into the 62 possibly, retesting down there. Okay, let's take a look at XLK. And also, I want to ask everyone, if you like the videos, give us a thumbs up. And if you're interested in getting the videos and being notified when there's videos being put out, and I do put videos out from time to time during the day, subscribe. Just click the old subscribe button there, and sure would appreciate it. Thanks. All right, now let's take a look at XLK. XLK is going to be led around with this FANG, with the FANG stock. It's going to be led around with that, so we'll keep an eye. Bearish engulf, 8 up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 8 up, 6 candles. We pulled back, closed below the T-line. We came down and came very close to our trend indicator, green dots. Now that is one serious bullish trend there, wouldn't you say? Let's just grab this low and we'll come up. There we go. Let's grab these right in here. So we're pretty close to the trend line. Let me extend that up actually. There we are. So we're pretty close to the trend line. Let's watch what happens here. Again, we're about an hour and a half, maybe a little less now, before the market opens. And it looks like we're opening up at the very lower end of yesterday's candle. Again, a bearish engulf with big volume. So we want to watch that. Watch for that lower low and what the lower low does. In other words, do we bounce, or does the low come way down here, which we'll see if that happens. But right now, let's watch for the weakness. If there's weakness comes in, let's see what happens, how it tests the line right in here. If the buyers were to step in, we want to make sure there's follow through. So with big candles down like this, sometimes what you can get is buyers step in oh, let's just buy the dip without even thinking about it. There are folks that do that. So buy the dip without even thinking about it. So they buy just to realize, whoa, that might have been a little premature, and then we might start moving down right in here. So the takeaway here is, if the buyers start stepping in, maybe we should wait for confirmation and see if those buyers can actually pull us out of this little bit of a dark cave that we're in right now. Nike, it looks like it might be changing directions, weaking, getting a little weak. You can just see that trend right in here. I guess we should probably do it like this. There we go. There we go. Let's do that. And all I'm trying to do is point out the green dots, how it's trending. We had a little dip right in here. Then we came back. But all of a sudden, we've got a couple of weeks where the trend indicator line has been tested quite a bit. And if we take the top here and go down to the tops there, over here, what is this, around the June 25th area, you can see we have a trend line that is pointing to the downside. So if I'm looking at Nike here below about 93, Nike could really start to pay if you're short on this. I'm going to look for a possibly entry into this area here, or I may wait for that breakdown. What we don't want Nike to do, if you're short anyway, you don't want Nike to pop back up over that trend. If it does that, watch for some a little bit of a rest, and then maybe it turns into a long. But right now, more like a short. Here is Dollar General. This thing has, we've peeked at this one in the room here, and I'm just amazed it hasn't dropped down already. That just looks like a short pattern to me. We have a nice bearish H pattern setting up, and this is the H pattern right there. It's just the opposite of the bullish continuation pattern. And we also have a nice little top that has formed up here. So also too, let's just point out our green trend. There's our green trend right there. And then you can see here the trend is starting to reverse and move down. Maybe we better put one line right in here. We start to see this fall through this 185.60 or so line, then the sellers could be taking charge of this. Seriously take charge of this, and we could end up back down to 172.90 pretty darn easy. FCX popped up yesterday, pulled back. We ended up having a shooting star up here. So I'm not running into this for a quick short at all. I'm actually looking for two types of trade on this. If we see the weakness and we start to break down, then I will look at the short, and only then. So I'm going to need to see this down below the trend indicator. You got to remember, our job is not to predict the tops or predict bottoms. Our job is to take a chunk out of the middle. You hardly ever want to short when the trend indicator is still up, when the dots are still green. Now, if they start moving down and we see this red, we see price underneath the dots, then that's where we want to take those shorts a little serious. So if we get down there, I'll consider that. Right now, I'm looking at this evening star here to give me a little pullback, and then maybe a buying opportunity if we start seeing the buyers move in. JP Morgan reported this morning. Yesterday and the day before, I think JP Morgan did a wonderful job on their price action here. We've been in a downtrend, And now price action has broke back up above that T-line, back above the trend. We've turned the trend indicator from red to green. Yesterday's candle wasn't too bad at all, showed there were more buyers than sellers. It looks like we're going to open up a little bit higher. So let's keep an eye on JP Morgan. Let's also keep an eye on banks in general. They're reporting, and we'll just watch what happens there. VXX, last one I have today. Bunch of people were buying VXX yesterday, and big bullish engulf. I can certainly see why. If we take this February low here, you can see we've got a trend line that's moving up to, well, I'm basically using yesterday's candle as the second point of that, from March 8th over about this July 7th. I'm using that trend line, and you can see yesterday we pretty much came down to it, and the buyers used that as support. So as I look at the chart here, I'm seeing a low, a high, a higher low, and now we've made a higher high. So that's kind of the start of what could be a bullish turn. It could be. What we need to see is follow through. Follow through is going to be important. Follow through does not have to happen today, but we do need to see follow through. And if we do, one of the first areas I'm looking for is somewhere up here around 42, in the 42 area, 42.70 maybe, a little under 48. And of course, if we break out of that, then that's going to put a bit of a strain on the overall market. So I'm going to keep an eye on VXX, fear indicator or volatility indicator. Different folks are going to call it different things. Bottom line, if this chart starts moving up, the market will be moving down. Other than that, the number one chart I'm going to be keeping an eye on is FNGU, because it has run this market up by itself. It has held strong, and if that starts seeing weakness, right now I just don't see anything that's going to take the place of this big tech. Now, I'm not saying big tech is over. I don't think it is over, but I do think a little pullback is in order. A little bit of rest maybe. So we'll watch that. And it may set up some great trades as well. So let's keep our eyes out. Okay, again, this is Rick with Hit and Run Candlesticks. Today's date is Tuesday, July 14th, and I hope to see you in the trading room. You guys have a great trading day.